Folks, it's very, very safe to say that Israel Adesanya's fans do not like me, only because I spoke truth of a situation, just how it was presented in front of us. I said what happened. I gave my opinion on what happened. Hundreds and hundreds of people on the internet agreed, and now I've got my phone in front of me, people trying to send me messages on Instagram, death threats, everything. It's absolutely crazy. It's one of the most surreal experiences ever, and it's very amusing to me how many of these fans are losing the plot, wanting me to die essentially. So that's why I'm making this video. I'm going to go through some of the comments I've been sent. We're going to talk a wee bit about the comments, and we're going to go over the good and the bad, and we're also going to actually sit and read some of the Israel Adesanya's fans' defenses and their takes. A lot of them in defense to me saying Israel, has taken it too far to make it about skin color. Their way of saying Izzy hasn't done that is by saying you wouldn't understand, you're white. So this is the level of maturity we're dealing with. This is the level of ridiculousness we're dealing with. And I pinned this as a comment in my my last video. I said, I wonder when an Israel Adesanya fan or anybody who's 9 years old sitting in their bedroom on YouTube sits back and he says, okay, this guy from Scotland has sat there and he's insulted my boy. I love Izzy, and he's made his point. So in Izzy's defense, bear in mind I'm saying that Israel Adesanya is making this about a skin color battle, which it's not. Israel Adesanya is making it that. Their defense to Izzy doing that is by saying white people don't understand this and that. And saying like Izzy's blacker than Dricus, so he's more African. That's his fan base defending him. And bear in mind, that's not just one person. That's about 50 people in my comments. Go to my last few videos. There's 700 comments on one of them. That's 100 comments per 1,000 people that's viewed it at the moment, which is just crazy. So I know I've literally been going through each one, replying to it, and I'm building a wee community now, and I'm, it's surreal the support I got. And sometimes when you come out with a very aggressive, very aggravated video like I did the other day, you get a split, you get a divide. But 96, I checked the algorithm, 96% of that video is thumbs up. Like, it's crazy. It's hundreds and hundreds of likes and hundreds of positive comments, and then you get the odd donkey that's commenting something completely stupid, which validates my point even more about the type of people we're dealing with here. As I said, this will be the third video I post in the space of 24 hours. So let's read this first comment, and this is actually a good comment. This is somebody who's agreeing with me, and he speaks a little bit on what I spoke on in the last video about Israel Adesanya having a taste of his own medicine. Listen to this. In the lead up to the first fight, as he said that Robert Whittaker was not a real Kiwi, despite the fact he was born in New Zealand. He said because Rob left, he isn't a Kiwi anymore. Well, Izzy left Nigeria just like Rob left New Zealand. And according to his own logic, he isn't African because he left, just like Rob did. That's right here for you. Which is my point. I made this point in the last video. Robert Whittaker is a Kiwi, but he was born and raised in Australia. He represents Australia. That's his choice, whatever, not a bother. An Israel Adesanya fan responded to this blatant comment saying, it's not the same thing. Israel is a proud black man. Robert is not. And that's right there for you. I don't understand how that is remotely means anything. That's one of his fans. Literally, this is the type of people we're dealing with here. This is who we're dealing with. Izzy is a proud black man. Robert is not. That is the difference. So by your logic, if I was to say there's more white people in New Zealand than black people in New Zealand, because Izzy isn't a proud white man, it's not the same thing? I'm not even going to dissect what you said. It's complete bollocks. It's not even a legitimate argument whatsoever. It's actually a really weird thing to say, and I think as an Izzy fan, you must write that out and be like, fuck, doesn't make any sense, but I'm just going to say something to pretend you have an argument in this case. No one has an argument here. It's all lies and rubbish. On to the next comment. South Africa is a developing country, so developing countries lack the infrastructure and resources for an athlete to compete on the international stage, compared to other fighters who train from first world countries. So if Dricus gets it done and wins the belt, South Africa will be very proud of him because he still lives and trains there, despite the lack of infrastructure. Fair play to Dricus. I hope he wins the belt out of Africa. Exactly. That's all Dricus's point was, showing people that he, from his hometown, he can win the belt. From Africa, people are such snowflakes. When Dricus said in that interview, "I want to be the first real African UFC champion," he didn't mean Israel and Usman and Ngannou weren't real Africans. He meant they're not real African champions because they don't fight out of Africa and train in Africa. People, it really gets to me. People are such snowflakes. The real African champion, as in the real champion that trains in Africa. You know what I mean? You can be an African champion, but you're training in New Zealand. Your success is not coming from Africa. Dricus trains in Africa, and his success comes from Africa. Fuck you. Anyone else who just has an issue with that. I didn't quite understand this one. I don't know who this is actually a shot at. He goes, "You know when Israel Adesanya is in your head when you drink light beer in blue cans and paint your nails." Those are two things that Israel Adesanya does, right? So I think he's taking the mick at him, but I don't know. I didn't know if that was about me or not. A funny little comment, whatever. Another one in support of me. Before we get onto the negative ones, I'm reading you some of the good ones. "Bro, you said it so well. Take it from me. Born and raised in South Africa. I am black. I have dark skin. Izzy is all you say. A loser. Dricus will fuck him up. Dricus, that's a matter of opinion. That's not to do with anything. Dricus says there is Afrikaans that don't know what we know." He's speaking in South African here, so I'm not going to read this because I'll butcher it. "And he is damn right. Izzy is scared." "You have massive balls for saying this, and I love it. Respect." I think so too. I think people just need to hear the truth, and people like Daniel Cormier, Ariel Helwani, they have a relationship with ESPN. They're afraid of this type of thing. I've got no relationship with no one. I've got my life. I've got my job. I train myself, so I don't have anything to worry about. This YouTube thing's just something I do to build a community, to build, to get my thoughts out there. Gives me something to do at the evenings. It's a nice little project. Tyson was right about you keyboard warriors. I'm not a keyboard warrior. I'm talking to a camera. And what does Mike Tyson or Tyson Fury have to do with this? I don't get it. Right, listen to this. Du Plessis started the race card thing. I'm wondering why no one complained about it rather than people condemning Izzy's reaction to it. Race was never brought into it, you fucking donkey donut. What's your name? Louis Marfo. Listen, Mr. Marfo, you little dickhead. I don't mean to be rude, but at the same time, do your research. Don't come into my comments talking shite. The whole video was about Izzy lying and all this. Dricus never played the fucking race card. I'm sure he fucking knows Israel Adesanya is African. I'm sure he knows Ngannou's African, Usman's African. It's funny how Ngannou hasn't said anything on this, mainly because he's probably confident. He grew up in Africa, in the Congo. He knows he's African. He doesn't have to worry or have anybody question it. You can still hear it in his voice, the soft-spoken African, you can hear it in him. You can't. Usman's American. He's from fucking Florida. You know what I mean? He didn't play the race card. He said he's going to be the first champion that fights out of Africa. Which he will fucking be, you idiot. Izzy then made it about race and ethnicity. Do a 23andMe. We'll see where you're from. He then made it a competition about race and stature. He's a dickhead. He's an arsehole. Literally, he's the scum of the earth. And you're talking shit defending him. And you're not even defending him well. You've got no legs to stand on, no backbone. Stop it. Literally stop. This next comment is just silly. If you hate him so much, challenge him to a fight. If I stood in front of Israel Adesanya and said the things I've just said about him, he'd fuck me up. He'd kick my leg and jab me for 5 rounds. No, I'm joking. He'd literally demolish me and pound me into the floor. He's a massive guy compared to me. I'm only 6 foot, 145 pounds, 150 pounds maybe I am. Almost 170. I'm sorry, almost 155. I fight at bantamweight. You know, I've got a very skinny, slender build. I've got a bit of muscle on me though, like strong shoulders, strong back. If you want to see any of my training footage, obviously drop a comment and we'll put some of it out there. But that's a silly comment to say. First of all, that's never going to happen. Second of all, if I was fighting talk, that's different. This isn't fighting talk. This is an argument. You know, it doesn't have to lead to a fight. Fighting talk, if I was challenging someone saying but things that were like, alright brother, come here and let's do it, I'd never back down. You can come at me all you want. I may come on YouTube and act all of this, but I'm a tough little guy, you know. I'd back myself in any social and physical encounter in person, in public. I back myself to the day I die. I bleed something different than these people do. I'm not afraid of nothing. Listen to this. Dricus brought it up. You forgot to mention the history of whites in Africa. Doesn't that history count? Or are you just going to insult Izzy's nails? I did insult Izzy's nails because I think it was weird. The white history in South Africa has nothing to do with it. First of all, absolutely ridiculous comment. What the fuck does white people have to do with taking over Africa and all this type of stuff? It's just a silly thing to say. Again, bringing race into it. Where's the race part coming from? I don't see where race is coming from. I'm very confused by that. The whole reason you're bringing race into it is because your master daddy Israel Adesanya brought race into it. You don't, but like, if you sit back and question, why did Izzy bring race into it when he didn't do anything wrong? He took a breadcrumb and he ran a fucking mile with it to make a fucking cabbage fucking pie, whatever the fuck it is. So fuck him. This video is terrible. I'm on the fence. The bias is way too over the top. Come on, kid. Okay, I spoke about this slightly in my last video. The bias will come out. I really can't stand Izzy. But then also, it's like, I'm arguing sides here. Izzy fans and Izzy are saying one thing, Dricus is saying one thing, and Izzy's taking it and ran with it and is being himself. He's being the reason I hate him. So in a way, it's also not biased, but then it comes across biased, fair play. And if that makes you not able to understand my points and take them at face value, and if it takes away from my credibility, then that's completely fair enough, and you can have your opinion. Dricus Du Plessis is going to be stopped in 3 rounds or less against Izzy. I can see it as well. I can see that happening. That's meant to be a hate comment, but I can see it. Someone else commented, haha, love this guy, bravo, which, thank you very much, love you too. And then this is a funny one. This guy commented twice, you will die for calling Izzy's name. And then the second comment, I am coming for you. His nickname, Free One. I am coming for you. Come at me. Come at me. Send me a message on Instagram, we'll get it done. We'll sort it, we'll do it. Not a bleeding bother. Let's get it done. Let's get it moving. Let's get something on the road then, man. You know where I am. But at the same time, what you talking about? Shut up. Like, or are you? You're probably 9. You're literally maybe 9 years old. Like, you're like, you know. Here's another comment. Well said, man. He is delusional. He has a chip on his shoulder. Absolutely, he does. This is what I mean. He's ran with it. He's taken a little bit and he's ran with it, and that just shows he's got a chip on his shoulder. He doesn't quite believe he's with his roots. You could have spoken anything, but you have chosen to speak facts. Something that no one does. You are very brave to do this. It causes a lot of backlash. Thank you. Not a bother, not a bother. What is funny is that people claim Izzy as an African champion, but not a single individual in Africa moulded Izzy into a champion. New Zealand did. Africans can produce their own champions, thank you. Dricus is making us proud and will soon be an African champion. That's a weird one, because Israel Adesanya is definitely an African champion. He's African and he's a UFC champion. He's a UFC champion who is African. He's not Africa's champion. That's the difference here. And there's such a little line between it. He's an African champion. He's not Africa's champion, you know? So that's all it is. That's all it is. And people seem to get pissed off by it. I love this video. I'm a South African who follows the UFC. It's time for Dricus to be an African UFC champion. Yeah. Look. There was one more that I wanted to read out to you, right? I don't know if I'm actually going to read it because it's a massive big paragraph. Look. Everyone's saying they love the fact I'm speaking nothing but truth. I really agree with you, and I think a lot of people do. Here we go. I don't understand why Chael thinks Adesanya is coming for Conor's title as the most popular fighter ever. Comment sections everywhere would disagree. Everyone really hates him nowadays. Ariel, on the other hand, is only licking his ass because he doesn't want Izzy to not return to the MMA era, and he knows Izzy will throw his toys out the pram like he always does with the slightest bit of criticism. Potentially because he is a homosexual and has never had anyone truly like him without changing his personality. I've never hated a UFC fighter more than I've hated Izzy, and all my mates feel the same. The community feels the same. The joy we had when Pereira took that belt off him was unmatched. That was joy even before he started acting how he is now. The Pereira win was the worst thing that's ever happened to us. This is a controversial one that I'm going to read next, okay? Izzy has a major identity crisis and that's not Dricus' problem. I think that's a very good thing to say. I think it's an identity crisis. He doesn't truly know who he is. Mental. The bloke ran away from Africa and pronounced himself as Chinese not long after. Now he lives in New Zealand. Why does he get too irate that Dricus is proud and that he didn't run away and that he's proud to be training out of a small gym that is making massive waves in the MMA world? I don't know. That's the thing. Why does Izzy get to do that? Why does Izzy get to take control of this? Because he's a prick. He's having an identity crisis and he's got the power to do it. You know... Here we go, guys. Ready? He didn't... Look... Izzy seems to think it's cool to be salty all the time about everything and everyone, to the point of engaging in a one-upmanship with the child of an opponent. Meaning when he pretended to die in front of Pereira's son. This current situation is him flexing about the authenticity, but I'm doing it through complete inauthenticity. As in, he's pretending to be authentic, but he's not authentic at all, which is so agreeable, 100%. You know, it's just crazy, like... Adesanya and Usman are not connected to Africa at all. Usman migrated to the... I think I've already read that one. I'm trying to find the one that... There was one massive comment, right? There was one huge comment. I told him I'd read it out. I feel like it could be somewhere here. I'll give it 10 more seconds and then we'll call it a day. Oh, listen to this. Izzy has been fed the victim mentality his whole life. We don't even use the M word. Like, what is that about? I don't even get that one. You know, I think listen to this. Lol, Izzy is going to show you guys who the real African is. Izzy is Nigerian with a proud heritage, and he's proud to be. No one ever argued his heritage. No one ever said he wasn't proud to be. He does not need a foreigner to tell him where he comes from, because Dricus knows nothing about him or his family. A foreigner. There it goes. No one touched Izzy's race card. No one said he wasn't a proud African. Then you call Dricus a foreigner to Africa. Why is that? Is it because he's white by any chance? Like, you know, this comment made me fucking die. Hey, as a Chinese, Israel is Chinese champion, okay? Black Dragon, Israel Adesanya, Chinese forever. It's so funny. So funny. Like, I'm burping, sorry. That is so funny. I think I'm gonna leave it at that, guys, okay? Everyone's pretty much saying they love me. I appreciate it. I like, honestly, like, I can't thank all of you enough for the support, and I just thought I'd react to some of those comments and just be like, look, I'm here and I'm here to stay, so get joining this fucking community. We're gonna tear these people to bits. I'm gonna change the MMA community by just being brutally honest, and I'm gonna get these little snowflakes out of it, because there's no room in MMA for people that don't look at facts. There's no room for Ariel Helwani or anybody like this. Chael Sonnen speaks facts, but he works with the ESPN, so he can't quite elaborate. And Israel Adesanya, you're a phenomenal champion, brother, but a storm is fucking coming. Laugh all you want, a storm is coming for you and your fans, honestly, and a storm is coming. Truly a storm is coming, so be ready. You know, this has nothing to do with race, and you've made it about race. You're a sly little individual, and I hate you. Thanks very much, everyone, for watching. Really appreciate it. Subscribe, comment. Let's get a community going here. Gonna build this up. Gonna tear it down through the roof. And respect to you all. I respect you all. Thank you so much.